Hello friends, it's Miss Van Alstyne. I'm so glad I got to see you in class today. This is your very first art instructional video. Today we're going to be going ahead and doing a project based on our hand. This is one my daughter already finished, and I want you to notice we're just going to be tracing our hand, coloring it in, and doing a background. Now, as we do this, we're just going to practice some basic skills as we go along. Okay? But I don't want you to forget all that we've just talked about as we read this book, Beautiful Oops, about sometimes we make mistakes and we can change them into awesome ideas. Or you can just paint over it. It's not a problem. So let's not stress out too much. I want you to show me what you can do and just get as far as you can today. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and go over the materials you'll need for this. I need 2 sheets of paper. I've just got a piece of copy paper here, and this is a mixed media sheet of paper. I just bought this pad of paper at Walmart, but it's a little bit thicker paper. If you don't have that, that's fine. Just get another sheet of copy paper. Students and parents, just go as far as you can with kinder. Sometimes every kid is at a different place, and we're just going to see how far we can get today. So first off, parents, you're going to trace their hand. So have them put their hand not in the center, not at the bottom, but close to the top of the page. And then I would like you to take the pencil and have it perpendicular to the paper, so hold it straight up and down. And just trace the outline of their hand. Try not to go under their fingers, because then their fingers get really skinny and they really need some space to color them in. So you just kind of go around each finger. It's better if their fingers are spread out really well so that you can get around all of those spaces. Okay, so once your hand is traced, kindergartners, you're going to take your crayons and we're going to color it in. Now you can color it all one color, you can color it different colors, but our goal is to stay in our lines. So, and to practice holding your crayon correctly. So when you're holding crayons or pencils, you're always going to want to pinch your crayon with your thumb and your pointer finger. The rest of your fingers should kind of stabilize. You can rest your wrist on the paper, and then you're going to use those 2 fingers plus this back finger to stabilize it to fill in your space. Now when you're coloring, you don't want to scribble scrabble. Scribble scrabble would just be kind of like all over the place, and you're just kind of doing that. You want to try to color in one direction, back and forth. So when I color, go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And remember, this takes practice. So if you're having a hard time, that's fine. Just remember, this is practice. We're just going to try our best to color in our hand. Now, if you get outside the lines, is that going to be a big problem? Nope, because remember, it's an oops, and oopses are fine. We can work with them. You're gonna just color in your entire hand however you want to do that. If you like whatever your favorite colors are, or if you just want to use whatever colors you can find. But just practice holding your crayon correctly, going back and forth and trying really hard not to scribble scrabble all over the place. You also don't need to color really hard. I don't have to press really hard with my crayon. I'm just going to gently fill in my space and let my hand go back and forth quickly so I can fill it in. Alright, so we finished coloring. We've tried really hard to stay in our lines. We've done the best that we can. And we're going to talk a little bit about holding our scissors for a minute. So when you have your set of scissors, you're going to always put your thumb in the smaller hole, and the bigger hole is for your 2 fingers, your first 2 fingers on your hand. And it's like you're shaking somebody's hand when you hold your scissors, okay? You're not doing it this way, upside down towards yourself, it's like you're going to cut away from yourself like this. So when you go to hold your scissors, it's like you're shaking somebody's hand. So you can put the thumb in the top circle, 2 fingers down below. Now once you've got those in place, you can cut out your hand. Now if you get to a point and you're like, this is just going to be too hard for me, then just go around like this. Okay? It's wherever you're at and you're comfortable with. You're just going to practice cutting with those scissors. So if you've been practicing for a while and you're really good at cutting, then you're going to cut in between all your fingers. If this is new for you, you're just going to cut like this. So I'm going to just show you. You're just going to take them and watch. My scissors always stay in the same place, and they're like a little machine. They just go up and down, up and down, up and down, and they're not moving. The only thing that's moving is my paper. I am moving my paper and not my scissors. Okay, that makes it a lot easier to cut. So I'm just gonna, it's like a little motor cutting my hand. So that's probably good enough if we just do it like that. And then we're ready to start our background. So if you've got this far and it's been like the time's up, this is great. This is what they're gonna turn in, parents. You're just gonna take a photo, give it to me. If you get farther, if you have like 10 minutes left, you'll have time to do the background. So I'll just show you how to do that real fast. For the background, I'm using this heavier sheet of paper. If your child doesn't have crayons, doesn't have markers, excuse me, we're going to use markers for the back, you can just color it all with crayons. So this is, you know, I colored really dark. I made sure it was a different color than my hand, and then we just glue that on and be done. But my daughter, we used these markers. There's regular markers, and I'll show you how to kind of get that effect. So if your child's really wanting to go more, then we'll just keep going. So you're going to take these markers, and we are going to just choose one or two, just 2 colors. Let's do 2 colors. 2 colors that are kind of similar to each other. So maybe let's do, I don't want them the same color as my hand. Okay, so I'm looking at my hand. My hand was blue and purple, so I should probably not do that color. So let's do red and pink. Okay, so I'm just going to color in the background quickly. Now when you're coloring with markers, kiddos, again, I'm using my fingers to pinch, back finger to stabilize, and I'm going to use the side of my marker, not the tip. That's going to make it go faster. Now I'm going to turn my paper again. You can just color it however you want. This is just a quick way of doing it. Okay, so you filled in your space. Now, parents, you could leave it just like this and then have them just glue stick their hand on here if you want. If you want to kind of get that watercolor sort of look. These markers, kiddos, are watercolor based. So all I do, if you have a brush and some water around, you can give it that watercolor look. Pretty simple. And that's why I wanted a thicker sheet of paper. So if you only used a piece of copy paper, then you probably don't want to do this part because it's going to get too wet. But it's just kind of fun to know that this is what happens when you get watercolor markers wet. It kind of gives it a nice sort of tie-dye look. If your kid was done at the scissors part, then we're done. If they want to add more later, if you want to do this with them later, it is fun. They enjoy painting it and seeing what happens. That's how you made our first assignment. So this will go here once it's dry, just like this one, and you are done for today. So kiddos, if you've got this done or any part of it done, I'm proud of you. Good job today. I'm hoping that you learned a little bit about how to hold a marker and a crayon correctly and how to hold your scissors. Now I'm going to review this with you Every time you see me for the first month, we're going to be talking about how to hold these things, because you can get really good at doing this by practicing a lot. All right, I'm excited to see what you send me. Don't forget to take a picture and send it to me and the assignments box on Canvas. See you soon.